right, you guys, this is probably going to be a short, quick video because I'm really just kind of playing with some things to see, I don't know what I want to do. I can't decide if I want to use my document camera um, or if I want to use my tablet and write on my computer. But anyway, we're going to start. These are 2.1 notes. This paper should be uploaded in the folder. If you want to print it out, it's not necessary. I'm going to share with you some things about it in just a minute. I copied and pasted all of this out of the textbook. I believe this was in the beginning of the chapter for chapter 2.1. I just cut and pasted that from the textbook. I'm sorry, my dog is, get down. It is on page, I took it from here, which is page 39. Okay, I just copied and pasted it. It gives me a set of data to work with. I really just want to talk about the biggest part of this. None of this is very hard to do. It can be time consuming, but the reason that students don't do well is because they don't know the vocabulary words. So I want to put this one over. This is one that I've gone over before. First of all, a group of numbers like this is what I'm going to be talking about when I say data. Okay? Data is generally just a group of numbers. It doesn't have to be numbers. You should have learned that in chapter 1. You've got quantitative data, which is going to be numeric. And then you've got qualitative data, which would be, I don't know, like a list of usernames. Okay. When I look at my attendance, that's a data set. Hair color. If I had everyone record hair colors for me, that's a data set, but it's blonde, brunette, black, pink, purple these days. I mean, so there's all different kinds of colors for hair, but if it's not a number, it's qualitative. If it's numerical, ages. If I ask for ages, I believe these are scores for the Super Bowl. The first 51 Super Bowls. There's 51 numbers. I think that's what that is. Anyway, you're going to be working with data. That's what you do in statistics. You work with data, all different kinds of data. And what we're going to do, the idea here is that you have to take this data and you're going to put it into a group, okay, into this little table right here. And basically all this is, think about it like this. Think about taking this data right here, and we're going to divide it up into groups. Now, someone's going to have to tell you how big the groups are or what kind of groups to do. Now, so like when you looked at this, if I gave you absolutely zero instructions, I just said, take these numbers and divide them up. Some people might say, hey, let's put all of the ones that are teens, like 14 and 16, and here's another 16. Let's put those in a group, and then let's put the 20s in the group. Let's put the 30s in a group. Let's put the 40s in a group. Well, that's dividing them up into what these things right here are called. That's dividing up into classes. So these little groups that we're dividing them up in, these are classes. I call them bins right here because that's what StatCrunch calls them. And what all they're asking when we build this histogram, all we're asking is, hey, how many buckets or how many that I think of buckets, because what I see is, my kid's sitting in the floor. I mean, he's 22 now, so this is a memory. I see my kid sitting in the floor, and he's got all of these Legos laying out, and I'm like, hey, I need you to divide these up. And he says, how do you want me to divide them, Mama? And I'm like, I don't care, baby, however you want to. And he decides to put all of the red ones in a bucket, all of the blue ones in a bucket, all of the green ones in a bucket. That what he's doing, he's sorting this data based on color. Well, you can sort this data based on a lot of different things, and they're usually going to tell you how many sorters you have. So just think of these classes right here as your buckets or your bins. These are your sorters. In this problem right here, they have, because there's 7 bars, they have 7 classes or 7 bins. And then what we have to do is we have to find out, well, how is that going to divide them up? Because since we have 7 different containers to put them in, we've got to figure out what numbers are going to go in each container. So when we figure out these boundaries down here, that's what we're figuring out, which numbers are going to go in which container. Okay, so the number of classes that you're going to divide this data in is usually provided. They tell you they want 7 classes or 6 classes or 5 classes. And if you want extra practice, you can take this data set right here and divide it into as many classes as you want. You could divide it into 2 classes. And then you'd have all the numbers, in one bin, and the smaller numbers in one bin, the bigger numbers in the other bin. And then frequency right here is just a count. That's all frequency is. Frequency is a count. So how many numbers do I have in this bin? And this bin holds numbers that are 13.5 to 19.5. Okay, so we don't have any decimals up here. So it's going to start at 14 and it's going to stop at 19. So if you are a number, 14 goes in this bin right here. And we're going to stop at 19. So 16 goes in this bin right here. And if you wanted to, you could go through here and actually write them down. It's the number 14. This is number 1. This is number 2. We'll say this is number 3 because there's several 16s. I know that there's five of these numbers are in this bin. So 14 is in here. The first 16, the second 16, the third 16. What else is in here? Anything? Let's see. Here's a 17 is in there. That's the 5th number right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 17. So those are the numbers that are inside that bin. That 16, that 16, that 14, that 16, and that 17. All of those numbers went into this group. And in this next group, how many are in this next group? There's 12 of them. How do I know? Because that's the count. They counted how many numbers went in here, and that's the count. So there's 12 of these numbers fit inside this bin, and these numbers are all the numbers between 19.5, so it's really probably starting at 20, and it's going all the way up to 25. Okay, and we'll talk about why we have these decimals there in a minute. So everything that's either a 20, a 21, a 22, a 23, a 24, or a 25 goes into this bin. Okay, is everybody understanding what these are called boundaries? And I'll explain those a little bit more in just a minute. These are your classes. That's what the textbook calls them. StatCrunch calls them bins. And this is your data. And this thing right here is a histogram. And I'm going to be teaching you how to build this histogram. There's other vocabulary that you need, these class widths. But before I get there, I want to do something else with you. So I'm said the video was going to be short. I'm already at 8 minutes. So I'm probably going to go ahead and stop it right now, check the quality of the video, make sure the volume and everything worked out okay. I will post this video and then I'll go on and discuss more of this with you, okay, in the next video.